I'll be the first to admit it. I'm not the brightest guy in the world. But what I do have is a particular set of skills. A set of skills that make me a nightmare for... No, I'm only joking. Yeah, I think you can be too intelligent. So no fear here. You can over-intellectualize so many aspects of life that you become so deeply embroiled in the detail that you miss the fundamentals. I think that's true of so many situations, but it's also true of hormone optimization. Now, we've spoken ad nauseum about the fundamentals of health: lifestyle, nutrition, exercise, and we've added in challenging ourselves as well, which I think is integral to actually getting the best out of your testosterone, placing yourself in that position of stress in order for you to grow and learn and become a better person. So simplicity. I like simplicity because I'm a bit simple. I think one of the things that I am good at is the ability to contextualize, empathize, hopefully. And yeah, see the wood for the trees. TRT should be very simple. Replace the testosterone, replace the LH with HCG. Boom. That's it. Is that it? Well, first off, yes. However, there have been a few instances in the last few months where I've thought, actually, I'm going to say it, and the anti-AI group are going to go mental. Well, I couldn't care less what you think. I have introduced microdosed examestane into a starting protocol. Why? Less is more, less is more. You keep banging on about that, so why are you giving more? Well, my chunky monkeys need it, okay? There's no point starting them on testosterone replacement therapy knowing that they're going to spike estrogen and wait for them to spike estrogen, have the negative side effects, and then add in an aromatase inhibitor. But you should never prescribe an aromatase inhibitor. Well, you should prescribe one if necessary, and you should prescribe it properly. So anastrozole, no. Poison, unpredictable. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever to prescribe anastrozole. Examestane makes perfect sense. It's a suicidal aromatase inhibitor. So kill a small proportion of the aromatase enzyme to lower the estrogen, not normalize the estrogen. So interestingly, on a starting protocol, we've never actually crashed the estrogen with the introduction of a microdose of examestane from day one. So it actually has proven to be effective in the guys that I know are going to aromatize. So harm minimization, we have found that to be effective. Now, you can't tell that online. You can't tell that via a Skype consultation. You can only do that face to face. So less is more, but you need a sensible, logical, methodical, considered approach to testosterone replacement therapy. Now, the aromatase enzyme. Those guys are counselled properly, so I do not want to prescribe an aromatase inhibitor, but I will prescribe one if necessary. I want you off of that aromatase inhibitor. So I want you to lose weight. I want you to look at your lifestyle, look at those hormone dysregulation thingamajiggies and eliminate them from your lifestyle and your diet. Optimize your liver health. I want you to reduce your alcohol consumption, stop your alcohol if possible. so that less will be more, and we don't need to add in artificial chemicals to optimize your testosterone levels. So the simplicity of testosterone replacement therapy is testosterone to replace the testosterone, HCG to replace the luteinizing hormone. But Dr. Stevens, why don't you optimize thyroid function? Why don't you optimize DHEA? Why don't you optimize whatever? Why have you got low testosterone? Is the primary issue a problem with your DHEA? Is it a primary issue with the thyroid? If it's a primary issue with your thyroid, you should have addressed that before you consider TRT. Now I say that, but essentially, depending on what your numbers are like and what your degree of thyroid dysregulation is, you have to have a considered approach to that. But yeah, ideally, you should optimize your thyroid function prior to commencing testosterone replacement therapy, because it is a lifelong therapy and it is a commitment. I've had a wonderful surgery today. It's been brilliant. Everybody has been optimized. Incredibly happy. Some of them have been on a bit of a journey. A high estrogen, the low estrogen. That wasn't my fault, and he would admit that. And he couldn't be happier. And although how do I feel? Perfect. How do I feel? Great. Everything. I mean, it's been an incredible surgery today, so I am really happy. It is amazing to see my guys so happy. So I'm not blind to what goes on in the TRT community, and I will look at what goes on, and I will think about it, assess it, see if it's something that I want to adopt. And more often than not, it's something I want to stay way clear of, because I think it's garbage. Normalization. TRT is all about normalization. Why don't you optimize this? Why don't you optimize that? Well, what's the problem? So you've got low testosterone. So was it a primary problem or secondary problem? So what hormones are involved in optimizing an issue that's caused by either a primary issue or a secondary issue resulting in low testosterone? Well, you just replace the testosterone and you replace the LH with HCG. So there are complexities to that. So again, I like simple, but simple doesn't always work. But if it is more complex, having adopted a logical and methodical approach and adjusted one variable, then you have a benchmark. It's much like we're very reactionary as a species, and we want instant gratification, we want instant reward. Hormones don't work like that. You know, you've got the LH, which is released in a pulsatile manner on a day-to-day basis. It's not sort of a constant flow. Now, when we give HCG, it has a half-life of approximately 2 days. So it takes 10 days to stabilize. So do you know how you're going to feel after 10 days? And the answer to that is no, obviously, because we're talking about stability. So how do you know you're stable? Well, I'm stable right now after 10 days. So how do I feel? So this is how I'm going to feel forever. No, it takes time. Okay. And much like testosterone, depending on the ester, depending on your SHBG, it takes time to stabilize. So 5 half-lives. So we measure guys' levels at 4 weeks. Some guys can be stable at 4 weeks if you've got a terrible SHBG. But essentially the reason why we monitor the first blood test at 4 weeks is so I can see a trend. So if I notice that your estrogen is slightly elevated in comparison to your free testosterone, we can address those factors prior to it becoming a problem. So we should adopt a preventative model to everything, not just testosterone replacement therapy, but everything. Why wait for a problem to occur? So when we live in our modern healthcare society, which is curative, prevent the problem from happening in the first place so you don't have to find a solution, because the solution is normally way more involved, and you still have to address the preventative things to make that change sustainable. So again, having a logical and methodical approach and changing one variable at a time is sensible. So testosterone, HCG, possibly an aromatase inhibitor if indicated, and with a view to the fact I want you off of that aromatase inhibitor so you address all your things that you're supposed to be addressing. I can't do the work for you, you've got to do it. So all I can do is guide you. I'm not here to tell you what to do, to be honest. I'm here to give you support and guide you in your journey. Because if I tell you what to do, it actually doesn't serve you any benefit. Take control of your own health. Be responsible for your own health, because it is yours after all. You have to hand over a bit of responsibility to me. You wouldn't be sat in front of me if you could do this on your own. But it's all about autonomy, informed decisions, and having realistic expectations. Those realistic expectations are not dull, they are brilliant. But you are sold a lie. The internet is full of bozos selling something that should not be sold. So realistic expectations, because the reward, we spoke about this in the last video, the reward, the dopamine response relief that you get needs to be earned. Buying it, being given it, it's empty. Short-term gains, quick losses. So they're not sustainable, and I think that's what you need to understand. Again, we've banged on about this before, about homeostasis, but it's worth repeating. You know, your body likes to be stable. So if you achieve stability, you can change, you can improve, but you need to do it logically and methodically, and understanding that health, it isn't just fixing one thing, it's fixing everything. And I think that's the issue here. So we have an arrogance, we have an ignorance, and again, address DHEA from day one. Add in thyroid, knowing that actually optimizing your male hormone levels is likely to improve your thyroid function slightly. Not dramatically. If you do have a massive problem, then you know that does need to be addressed. But it needs to be a considered approach. You know, wham bam, thank you ma'am. So, you know, you go to a clinic, it's like, well, I want you to do my testosterone, my HCG, my DHEA, my pregnenolone. I want you to, you know, wipe my ass for me. No, you know, you need to have a logical and methodical approach and appreciate that there are no quick fixes. Your body wants to maintain stability. So you want to see how your body reacts, and understand that the journey is part of, I don't know what I'm trying to say now. I do bang on so much sometimes. I get lost in my own thoughts. The journey is the whole thing. You know, there's no destination. So why don't I optimize this from day one? Because it doesn't make sense. If you've got low testosterone, address the low testosterone. Address the side effect that happens from low testosterone, which is pituitary suppression. Then address other issues as needed. Slowly, sensibly, logically, methodically, and that will serve you best for the future. Long-term physical and psychological health. Earn it.